小朋友们下午好 Good afternoon everybody 我今天给大家吟诵一首古诗 I'm going to share with you a poem, a classical poem 那这首古诗啊，老师先不说是哪首诗啊，老师先给大家画一个图画，看看大家知不知道老师在画什么啊？好，这是老师在画，这是一个人的头，然后这是他的背，这是他的手臂，那是他的腿。那看着他在干嘛？啊，他站在什么地方呢？他站在一禾苗上，一座一座的禾苗啊，这 crops 啊，这禾苗。然后呢，手中拿着什么呀？手里边拿着锄头 ，a hoe，a hoe。Sorry, it's a hoe. H-O-E, hoe. 这 in Chinese is 锄头，锄头啊。真的，拿这个锄头是用来干嘛的？除草的，松土，除草松土。除草 means weeding. Now getting rid of the weed for the crops. 然后松土 is loosen up the soil. 好，这是一位农民伯伯 and this person is a farmer. And let's put a hat on his head. Why is it? Oh, this hat looks a little bit odd. 有点奇怪，对不对？好，我们来，这是他一顶帽子，为什么呢？ Why do we put a hat on top of his head? 因为这里有一个大太阳，在空中有一个大太阳，因为是在夏天啊，天气很热。太阳 the sun 太阳，农民 farmer 然后这个呢，这是什么？这个是锄头 and hoe 好，这个是禾苗 crops the baby crops 好，我们现在来看哈，锄禾，刚才老师说了禾这个字对不对？然后这个是锄头，用这是个动词哈，它在做什么 ？A doing word. It can also be used as a noun. 好，这个是禾，就是这个禾苗。那禾苗是不是长得有点像？这个禾苗如果是这样的话，有的时候禾苗是这样的耷拉下来的，对不对？这个，所以这个禾字就跟这个禾苗本身就长得挺像的，对不对？这就是象形字 pictograph。 好的，我们这个是禾苗哈 the crop。 好，老师现在给大家念这首诗啊，请大家听好了，老师会念3遍。 I'm going to read the poem 3 times， 然后前面2遍请大家用耳朵听好了，那大家用耳朵听就可以，那嘴巴不用动哈。那么第3遍的时候呢，老师念第3遍的时候，小朋友们跟着我一起念。For the first 2 times, when I'm reading, and you listen only. Okay, everybody, you listen only with your ears, and keep quiet and just use your ears to listen really carefully how I say the poem. And in the 3rd time, when I say the poem again, and you follow me. Now, there we go. 好，我们现在开始来听啊。锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐，粒粒皆辛苦。好，第2遍 the second time。锄禾日当午， 汗滴禾下土，谁知盘中餐？粒粒皆辛苦。好，第3遍 ，the third time. Now, if you want to follow me, please do so. 如果大家想跟着我一起读哈，大家请跟着我一起读。锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐？粒粒皆辛苦。好，老师刚才读了3遍，那我再读一遍，读第4遍哈。I'm going to read the fourth time。大家再听哈，然后大家老师就给大家看这个字是怎么样写的哈。好，锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐？粒粒皆辛苦。好的，好，这个刚才老师念了这首诗，那么现在呢，老师给大家看这首诗它是怎么写，这个中文字是怎么写的哈。请大家看好了，边听边看。Now you listen carefully and also look carefully. Now look at the words, the Chinese words. 锄禾老师这样子吧，待会儿给大家看一排哈，我现在一个一个给大家看这个字。好，锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐？粒粒皆辛苦。好的，好，这一回呢，老师把这一首诗一行一行的给它排出来哈，请大家看好了，边听边看然后也可以跟着大家跟着老师一起念哈。锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐？粒粒皆辛苦。好的，小朋友们，大家学得非常好，非常认真哈。好，讲到这个地方我们再一起来念几遍让我们自己更加熟悉这首诗，发音和这个字都要配合起来。好，我们一起来哈。Now let's do it one more time. 锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁 知盘中餐，粒粒皆辛苦。再来一遍 ，one more time。锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐，粒粒皆辛苦。好，那这一回呢，老师按正常的速度来跟大家吟诵这首诗哈。Now I'm going to read this poem at normal speed. Now just now I read it at quite a slow speed so that make sure you can follow me, you can read every word properly. But now I'm going to read it at a normal speed and in a very very Chinese way, shall we say? Okay, there we go. 1、2、3。锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐，粒粒皆辛苦。好，再来一遍。锄禾日当午，汗滴禾下土。谁知盘中餐，粒粒皆辛苦。好的，那刚才我们念了这首诗啊，那现在呢，老师要跟大家讲几个重要的一个点哈，讲几个重要的点。Now, just now we read the poem, and we learned how to read it and learned how to write these words. Well, at least we know what these words look like. All right, not necessarily we know how to write them. Now, I'm going to share with you a couple of more points, or a few points that I think is quite important to know. And I think it would be practical. Some of them are practical as well. 那首先，那 first of all, I'm going to show you the simplified Chinese. Now, for those of you who have learned Chinese for quite a while, you might have spotted some of the words are in traditional Chinese. Now, for example, 那我给大家看这个字啊，这个是那 this is the traditional Chinese. This word is in traditional Chinese. 锄当 This one is in traditional Chinese, and this one's in traditional Chinese. Okay, and I'm going to show you what the simplified version is. 好，这个是正体字啊，这正体字就是中国古代的时候，古人是怎么写的呢？ When it comes to traditional or simplified, then traditional Chinese words are the ones and have been used by the Chinese for thousands of years. So ancient Chinese use these words. These are called traditional Chinese, traditional version. And for example, this one as well. And later on in history and in the mid-20th century, because people wanted more people to learn Chinese in China, so that's why people came up with an idea, wanted to simplify some of the words, not all. I think in total, and there are only just over, not quite just over, but just over 600 Chinese words, and changed from the traditional version to the simplified version. And I will go through these ones, and whenever we come across them, okay? And now, for example, this one. 锄. Now, this is a traditional version, and simplified version goes like this. 简体字是这样，这个是正体字，这是简体字哈，是厨是这样的写。那一笔一画要工整啊，要好好的写。这是厨。Now can you see the difference? It's only the bits on the right hand side. That's the only difference, and the rest is the same. OK， 只是在左边的这个偏旁部首它是不一样啊，这两个是不一样的。那么剩下的这右边的这个部分它是一样的。好，这是厨，这是简体字。那么这个当，锄禾日当午，这当。Now this is the traditional version, and the simplified version goes like this. 这是正体字，那这古老的正体字呢？简体字怎么写呢？ Simplified version is 简体字 in Chinese 是这样的写。那我老师先把这个干脆不擦吧。好，这样的写啊，当。这个是当哦，这个要下来啊，这样的下来。好，这是当。那 this is a simplified version。然后这是简体字，然后这个字呢是谁？这个字是正体字。那么简体字怎么写呢 ？How do we write it in a simplified version？ 是言字旁，这是简体字。谁？好，这个 the only difference between these two 这两个字唯一的不同处是什么？是左边的言字旁。Now is the radical on the right hand side. Now there's a 言字旁。The simplified version is like this. 好，这最后一个是盘，这个盘哈。This is a traditional version, and the simplified version goes like this. 盘 Oops 没有给大家看见哈。好，这个是盘，这个是盘。那 what's the difference between this one and this one? Is this bit on the right hand side is missing. Okay, in the simplified version, this bit has been taken out. Okay, so the 盘. So in future, if you come across these words, you'll know what it is. Oh, by the way, I got to explain to you, don't I, what these words mean. Okay, in English, just in case some of you don't understand Chinese a lot or at all. I assume that you don't understand Chinese very much so far. All right. 这个锄 means hoe, H-O-E, hoe. 锄禾 is crop. 日 means the sun, 太阳那日 sun. 当午 means noon, N-W-N, noon. 当午正好在当中，这个午，正当午，正是中午的时候呢。It's noon. 锄禾日当午 or put it more we'll put it this way. Now the farmer is hoeing the crops at noon when the sun is right in the middle of the sky. Okay, because at noon the sun is right in the middle of the sky, isn't it? 好，锄禾日当午。That indicates the weather, and that's very hot. That's why it comes the second line. 汗滴禾下土. 汗 means sweat, and 滴 means drop, and 禾 we learned that crop, and 下 underneath, 土 soil. Okay, so it means the farmer's sweat drops and it's dropping in the soil underneath the crops. and then the third line goes 谁知盘中餐 谁 in literal translation, okay, I just try to do it in kind of literal way for so far. 谁 means who, 知 is know, and know as in knows, and K-N-O-W, this know, okay. Do you know or you don't? 谁知 now who knows? 盘 means plate, 中 in or on, in the middle of something. 餐 means meal. Now, so who knows the meal on the plate? 粒粒皆辛苦 li li. Now, these two words, you can see they repeat, don't they? When two words, they are put together, and they are the same words, and they are put together basically repeating one another, it's the emphasis on the every. So every grain, this li li refers to, it's actually a measuring word. Li li, a grain. Every grain, 接 all. Every grain is the result of the 辛苦. We got to understand it as a kind of compound word in a way. And when we try to understand this poem, 辛苦皆辛苦辛苦 it means a hardship, it means somebody's put lots of effort to it and experienced a lot of hardship, especially put lots of effort to do something. So every grain is the result of hard work. It's not just the hard work of farmers, but also hard work of many other people. Now, for example, when after the crops are cut, they have to be processed, and then they have to be delivered from the farm to the supermarkets, and then the people, whoever produce, make food for us and make meal for us, and those are chefs and cooks. Now, for example, if at home our mummies and daddies could cook meals for us, and they have to put lots of effort, and those people, delivery man and postman, they have to put lots of effort to carry the food from one place to another, the ingredients, for example, to the supermarket, or from where the food, the grains are stored to where we live. Now, if we buy things online, and so there are lots of people have to work really hard to provide us food, and so that's why we've got to be very grateful and very careful with the food we eat. We don't waste food. 我们不浪费食物啊。Don't waste food. 不浪费食物。浪费 is waste, and 不浪费 means do not waste food. We don't waste food. And now, if any one of you who are picky with the food, do you think that's a good habit? Do you think that's grateful? You can really think about it. You know, so many people have to put so much effort to get food ready for us. And so, yes. Oh, the other thing I would like to mention to everybody, I don't know if you know, is did you know there are so many people in the world don't even have enough food to have. So many people in the world, they don't have enough breakfast, they don't have enough food for their lunch or dinner. So we are very lucky, we are very fortunate to have enough food. Not just enough, perhaps we have just too much food for us to choose, and we should be extra grateful and really cherish the good good life, the good life that we are enjoying. Right. Speaking of this, speaking of meal, I just remembered there is another word, and I would like to mention, and I think I must mention it because this is part of the Chinese culture. And also this word actually was used by the ancient Chinese when it comes to this poem, this specific poem. Okay? And this word here, 谁知盘中餐, the 餐,餐. This version is one version, and there is another version has been around for thousands of years. Now, the other version, the only difference is the this 餐 and the other word. In the other version, 餐, this word 餐 is replaced by this word 孙. 孙，大家看好了哈，这是孙。Now, if you want to look at the pinyin, it's 孙。好，孙。谁知盘中孙啊？谁知盘中孙？ Now, 孙 has a specific meaning. It means a meal, but it's not any meal, but refers to the meal that people have in the evening. And in English, we call it either supper or dinner. Now, some of you might be aware of the class system in the British culture. So what people have one class and normally say supper, and many more people would say dinner. And of course, it depends on the where you live. North End and South divide the difference. Dinner can also refer to lunch in the north. Anyway, we in this poem we just refer dinner to the use dinner to refer to the meal that we have in the evening. And how do we say the meal we have in the evening in Chinese? Is this one, 孙. Of course, this is an ancient way of saying it. And in modern Chinese, it's much simpler. Well, I wouldn't say it's simpler actually. The ancient Chinese is more simpler. Now, in modern Chinese, 现代的中文我们怎么说哈？晚餐，晚餐。好，晚餐。那我这样子跟大家这样的写哈，早餐。那既然我们提到这个餐，since we've mentioned the meals, I might as well mention the breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Chinese. It's very simple. 早餐 is breakfast is 早餐，早餐。那 lunch is 午餐，午餐。然后dinner 晚餐，晚餐。So it's 早餐，午餐，晚餐。Breakfast 早餐， lunch 午餐 and dinner 晚餐。好了，我们今天就学到这里。Okay, everybody, and this is it for today. And I'll see you next time. 我下次见哈，小朋友们，大家再见。